You've probably heard that starting an Airbnb business is too expensive, too risky, and too complex. We're here to show you that that is definitely not the case. Basically, watch this video as we go through the 5 biggest Airbnb myths and we dispel all of them as a 21-year-old and 19-year-old 6-figure Airbnb host.
The first myth that you want to dispel is that you need to own the property to get started. Now, the best thing about not needing to own the property to get started is that you simply avoid the cost for the big deposit for the mortgage. When we started, I was 18 years old and he was 20 years old. We obviously didn't have 20 grand to put down towards a mortgage, so what we needed is something cheaper in order to get us good cash flow, and that's exactly what Airbnb helped us to do. We were allowed to rent a property off of a landlord. The only initial fees were the first month's rent or deposit and furnishing the property. After that, it was pretty much just cash flow covering every other cost.
And now let's focus on myth number 2, and this is a big one. People think that it costs loads of money to start, right? So I know he spoke about in the last clip that we didn't buy any properties. We basically started by renting them from landlords and then letting them out with the landlord's permission. Now, people think that even that's expensive. They say that, oh, I only have 4,000, 5,000, 7,000. How am I going to get that done? You know, furniture is expensive, deposits are expensive. That is not the case at all. We started our first business with literally £7,000 in savings. Now, especially if there's 2 of you, if it's you and a business partner, you can easily get that saved within like 5 months probably. Or let's say it's one of you alone, you can get that saved easily within a year. And if you're going to save it anyway, you might as well put it into a business where you can get some return on investment, you can break some challenges, and you can really challenge yourself, really and truly. So that's the best way to go about it. It does not cost too much to start. 7,000 is a very good figure to get you started, and then the way that you do it is you do it one property at a time. So you get the profit from that first deal, you reinvest into the second, the third, the fourth, and then it starts to spiral. You get what's called an exponential curve. As soon as you're reinvesting your profits, it basically goes like this. And by the end of it, you're in a position where you basically never work again. And that's the exact position that we're in now.
Another myth is that the Airbnb market is completely oversaturated. And yeah, it obviously does have a lot of competition, but this just leaves room for quality. So what this means is that obviously there's going to be people that do it great and there's going to be people that do it not so great. So that leaves room for you to basically take advantage of the people that don't do it great and just wipe them out of the market. The way you do this is by offering unique discounts, for example, unique things in your property such as a hot tub, a pool table, even stuff like Netflix. And another thing it allows you to do is focus on delivering amazing customer service. And this is exactly how you wipe out the lower value properties from the market.
And now we move on to myth number 4, speaking about risk. People love to say that Airbnb is risky. Starting a business, starting a side hustle is risky. The reality is Airbnb is just as risky as anything you try ever. Everything is risky if you do it wrong because you're guaranteed to fail. The difference is we spent a lot of time and made sure we spent the right amount of money making sure that we knew what we were doing before we had to do it. We basically could have explained it step by step to you. We could have told you our exact plan with each property, with any property that you showed us, because we made sure that we spent time to learn how to pitch, to learn how to furnish, to learn where our responsibilities are, where the landlord's responsibilities are. And we made sure that we're safe ourselves. We have security deposits. We make sure that our contracts are sound. We literally make our contracts ourselves with a solicitor to make sure that everything is bulletproof and that we know every single term in our agreement. These are ways that you make it safe for yourself. You can take advantage of Airbnb. They cover hosts and stuff like that. So it's definitely not risky. It's only risky if you don't do the due diligence on the area, meaning you're paying, let's say, too high rent and the property doesn't even warrant enough demand to basically cover that rent. That's a risk. But if you're doing that, you've already gone wrong. If you're doing the due diligence correctly and if you learn about the game correctly, if you learn how to pitch correctly, there is no risk. You're simply just doing something that you know about. It's only ever going to be risky if you don't know what you're doing. That's the same with any other business.
And myth number 5, and the last myth of today's video, is that it takes too much time. Now this is a myth because a lot of people think that you're going to be glued to your phone, constantly taking phone calls from guests, constantly checking in guests and stuff like that. However, there are a lot of systems that you can put in place to simply stop this from ever happening. There's systems you can put in place to stop you from ever looking at your pricing again, which are called dynamic pricing tools, which basically allow for a software to increase or decrease your prices based on events happening in the area. There's also systems that you can use to send instant checkout instructions to guests so that you don't have to check them in manually. There's also something that you can do to make sure you don't have to deal with any guests' queries ever again, and that is hiring a VA. The best thing about hiring a VA is it allows you to step back and work on your business and not in your business.
So there you have it. That's the big 5 myths absolutely busted. If you even let any of those stop you moving forward now, just know you're wrong. Okay, we were able to single-handedly destroy those, and that's what allowed us to get to this current position that we are in today. Now, if you did find this helpful, if you have any further questions about anything that we spoke about, please comment them down below or even message us. We're on all socials, Instagram, TikTok, stuff like that. Please reach out to us and let us know what content you need or how we can improve our current content right now, because we know we're not perfect. It's literally our second ever YouTube video, but the only way we ever can get better is from constructive advice from you guys. So please let us know, and let us know what you think about what we said today. At the end of the day, we're just trying to get better.